Good morning, grade 4s. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about adverbs. And now, so far we've talked about a whole bunch of different things that adverbs can describe. The first thing we talked about is adverbs that describe verbs. And then we also talked about adverbs describing adjectives and adverbs. Now there's a little trick for finding these types of adverbs because when an adverb is describing a verb, it could be found almost anywhere in the sentence. But when an adverb is describing an adjective or another adverb, it always comes right before the actual adjective or adverb. So that is going to be our little trick to help us today. And for today's examples, I've actually gone through the textbook and I've pulled some of your actual examples out there. So if you want, you can grab your language textbook, go to page 189 and you can follow right along. So in page 189, think A tells us to do two different steps. It tells us, first of all, to underline the verb 2 times, and then it tells us to write whatever the adverb is in the blank. So that is going to be our job today. All of these are just one verb. There's not verb pairs or more than one verb per sentence. There's just one verb, so hopefully it's a pretty easy find. Let's read our sentence and see if we can find our verb. The children walked out to the playground. So what are the children doing? They're walking. Walked is going to be our verb, so I double underline that. Now that that is double underlined, I do the second part. I have to find the adverb that is describing how, where, when, how, what on earth they're doing when they're walking out. Oh, and in that case, the word that's describing walking is out. So on the line, I'm going to write out. That tells us where the children are walking. So out is our adverb. Let's look at the second one. Soon, Grace saw him on the bench. Soon, Grace saw him on the bench. So once again, we find the verb first. We double underline it. So what is Grace doing? She's seeing someone. Saw is the verb. And what's describing how or where or when she saw? Well, soon. You'll notice this time the adverb is at the beginning of the sentence. That's because soon is describing a verb, just like out is describing a verb. And whenever our adjective or our adverb describes a verb, it is going to be anywhere in the sentence. You have to do a little bit of looking. Here's a nice thing though. Let's scoot down to think B. Same sort of idea, except now we're dealing with adverbs that are describing other adverbs or adjectives. And so it should be a lot easier to find these ones and a lot easier to find what they're describing as well. So let's look at this one. The sentence tells us in the blank, write the word which the italicized adverb modifies. So basically it's saying, this is your adverb. What verb is that changing? What verb is that describing? And the nice thing is a modifying adverb always comes right before the word it's modifying. So these ones are a lot easier to find. Let's go through this first sentence. The class did amazingly well on the exam. Amazingly is describing the thing that is right behind it. It's describing well. So on the line, you write well. Well is another adverb. So there we go. We have an adverb describing an adverb. And let's look at this one as well. I am seldom late for class. So here's the adverb that's underlined. What is that one describing? Once again, it comes right afterward. It's describing how often that person is late. So the word it describes is late. How nice and easy. These ones are found right afterwards. So it's a lot easier to find adverbs that describe other adjectives or other adverbs than it is to find adverbs that describe actual verbs. So hopefully you keep that in mind. Those are what those two questions are asking you to do. And I wish you the best with your work. Goodbye, everyone.